these are habit loops. I'm talking about the process, the general 3-step process to any habit in your life, right? So that consists of the cue, the routine, and the reward. These are 2 of the most common habits that a lot of us will suffer from. If we're talking, my demographic is, youthful people, but this is really anyone. If you find yourself scrolling on social media, this is how it goes, right? So we have, like I said, the cue, the routine, the reward. It's a 3-step circular process. Number 1, you click on Instagram, that's the cue, right? You're on your phone, bam, that's the cue. Your routine is you're scrolling aimlessly, you're scrolling mindlessly. And then the reward is the dopamine that you get from it, right? You feel there's a dopamine high that comes with Instagram. Instagram is specifically designed to keep you on there. If you go on every page, there are a bunch of pictures, a bunch of options. That's the dopamine being extracted. And then this one is extremely common as well. Cue is the thought of a drug or alcohol, right? Weed or drinking is kind of the most typical, whatever. And then the routine is indulging, right? Smoking up a joint, drinking, whatever. And then the reward is the high or drunk that you receive from it. And you see how these processes go back and forth. There are a lot more bad habit loops as well. I'm also going to talk about good habit loops. All right, so these are good habits. These are my personal habits that I indulge in. For me, it's all about environment, and you're going to see exactly why. Number 1, sit in the study. That is the cue, right? When I sit in the study, I'm priming myself to do something productive, do something focused, mindful, and good. The result, it could be reading as well, but mostly journaling, right? That's the routine. I sit with a paper, I sit with my pen and thoughts, and I get it out. As a result, the reward is the clarity. Similarly, environment's big. Right when I get up in the morning in my room, I have a yellow chair. So the cue, as soon as I get up in the morning, I see the yellow chair, right? Then it triggers into the routine. The routine is a meditation, being mindful, getting my mind focused early, and the reward is the relaxation, right? And you can sub this in, like I said, for reading, anything productive. It's all about your environment, and you can see it with yourself. If you got a workout room in your house or whatever, you have in a place where you work, the cue, bam, you go to that room. The routine, you work out, the reward is the accomplishment. You see the habit loop in effect. All right, man, that's cool and all, right? You explained to me like these bad habits. You explained to me, the process and good habits, but what's the use in that if I can't break the habits? How do I break these habits, the bad habits? Well, Ben, I'm actually very glad that you asked, because it's actually really simple. This is how you do it. That was real slick, bro. That was real slick. You might not have caught it. What you do is your routine, bro. Let me get it. Your routine, step 2, is the most important step to break a habit. So, let me go back on these bad habits and explain exactly how I broke them. All right, we felt like using yellow, so we rocking with the yellow. All right, so the Instagram social media habit, absolutely, if you're watching my content, probably the habit that plays you the most, right? So your cue is Instagram, like I'm saying, your routine is scrolling, and the reward is dopamine. All right, that's cool. We keep these the same, right? We keep these the same because the cue is more so the feeling to go on IG. You're on your phone, something comes into your brain, bam, impulse to get on IG. When you get that impulse, you have to figure out a way to sub in a routine that will get you the reward. So for me, I'm speaking on me right now. Actually, that is the routine that you sub in. You sub in a healthy habit, whether it's walking, maybe it's a little like 10 push-ups, maybe it's reading, maybe it's journaling. It's something that you want to implement into your life as your routine. And the reward will stay the same. So you're keeping 2 of the 3 components of the habit loop the same, but you're subbing in the routine. Little by little, you're gonna realize that you're gonna break your habit, and not only are you breaking a bad habit, you're introducing a good habit. All right, this is where people go wrong, right? People try to go cold turkey on their habits. They try to completely just eradicate them, which you can do, which is possible, but however, it requires a substantial amount of discipline and willpower. This can work, but the reason why it's not going to work for you is because you're going against the grain of the habit loop. You're basically saying, I'm not listening to the cue, I'm not going to indulge in a routine, I'm not getting the reward. So instead of simply swapping out the routine, you decided, to hell with it, I'm going all 3. You see the difference. You see how the implementation of a routine will help you. I challenge you guys, the best way to break habits is to write out all your habit loops, the good and bad ones, and make a list of behaviors that you feel like you could sub in a routine. And for me, a lot of them are spiritual, right? If I feel a certain way, if I get an impulse, it's immediately chi. meditation. That's why I preach it all the time. It's changed my entire life. It's changed, I went from someone who indulged in these things to social media, to narcotics and things like that. I changed it by simply changing the routine. You simply change the routine and you keep the harmony of the other two processes. How to stay true to your habits. Because we've all experienced at a certain point in time that you may feel motivation. You may feel, okay, I really want to make this change in my life. I know it's going to better me. But what ends up happening is your energies oscillate between the day from high energy to low energy. We all have crashes. We all have feelings of laziness. Really, points in the day, highs, lows, whatever. I mean, that's not the exact graph. But you might feel good at 11 a.m., but around 5 or 6, that's a low. It's at these moments, at these points, where you're going to break, or where you would normally break. But this is how you stay true. 2 steps. 1, you figure out the routine, and you make sure that the routine not only sounds good, but is a real life application to you and your situation. For me, walking is, my neighborhood's a nice loop. It's a really easy walk. It's something I can really easily just do. Likewise, meditation, I'm already spiritual, so as a healthy connection with your higher self, and that's also going to help with the higher and low energy graph that I just did. What people who don't have a spiritual connection will cave into their lower self. We all go through higher and lower selves. When you're in the sun, you feel good. That's your higher energy. When you're in a dark room, you feel impulsive. That's your lower energy. I'm gonna make another video on that. But what I'm saying is, cultivating a spiritual connection is the absolute key to breaking habits, because it makes you practice singular focus. It forces you to have a connection with your higher self and higher energies. Even if I wanted to, I can't go down to my lower energies because my higher self will disapprove. And I'll feel it, I'll feel worse. Why would I voluntarily make myself feel worse? So this is step 1, you figure out your routine. And number 2, know your why. Know your why. Know exactly why you're doing something, because you have to make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. You're doing it for a purpose, a thing that is worth fighting for. I got up and worked out because I want to get healthy. That's a habit loop I'm investing in. My why is my body is very important to me. My cue is I'm gonna eat food. My routine is I eat a healthy food. My reward is I feel good. My why is that healthy food is gonna make me healthier. You have to come up with the whys for why you're not only indulging in good habits, but breaking bad habits. You have to know your why. Pivotal. All right, benefits. Here we go. 3 benefits that I've come to find from the habit loop, or breaking the habit loop, using the habit loop. Number 1 is your self-worth. Like I said, you're having access to your higher energies. You're doing what you say that you're doing. All of these bad habits are limiting you. Bad food, social media, narcotics, drugs, alcohol, all of that is taking you away from what you really want to do. I would not be out here in the park alone after I just worked out for an hour and a half and watered the plants and did all this good stuff if my habit loops were not A1. My habit loops are A1, and as a result, it is way easier for me to stay on the path that I want to stay on. It's way more fun talking to a camera and using a whiteboard than it is doing drugs. It is. It's way more fun. It's way more fulfilling. I'm way happier. Before you can really get into your higher self, you have to break off from your lower self. Think about Harry Potter. I'm going on a tangent. Think about Harry Potter when the Phoenix in Dumbledore's office died. Harry thought it was dead only for it to resurrect. You have to kill off your old you. You can't be who you are now and who you want to be at the same time. You have to kill off your old you so a new can arise. I had to burn my old self so I could be into my higher self, bro. It's like a butterfly going from a caterpillar. You gotta get out the cocoon. The cocoon is your bad habits holding you back. Anyway, number 2, we're talking about singular focus. Like I said, all of the bad habits, the result, the commonality and the reward is dopamine. High dopamine, which manipulates your brain. It's a code, it's ones and zeros. I'm definitely gonna make another video on that because I really have to. Singular focus is how you get what you want. It's why you can't study. It's why you can't read. It's why you can't journal. It's why you can't meditate. Because as soon as you try to do these things, your attention's being pulled to other things. Why? Because your brain is so saturated in dopamine. So if you clean up your habits, you're gonna naturally lower your dopamine intake. Think about it. Number 3, which goes into number 1, control. Control. You're not being pulled by your lower energy and your lower impulses. I run my life. I run my life. No one can tell me anything. You know why? Because my habits speak for themselves. I literally have complete and utter control of what I want to do today. I'm not being pulled by anything, and that's going to yield you the power and the momentum to actually do what you want and chase your dreams. You can talk all you want about, I want to do this, I want to do that, yada, yada, yada. But if your habits say otherwise, guess what's not going to happen? What you want. These are the 3 benefits of the habit loop. All right, here we go. Summary. Bad habits, like I said, the commonality is dopamine. The commonality is pulling your attention and your focus mostly away from what you want. Number 2, to break the bad habit, you focus on routine. Like I said in the habit loop, you focus on the routine, you figure out healthy habits to sub in, and you also focus on why you're doing it in the first place. That's going to pull you and propel you to not go back to that lower energy. And like I said, once you break bad habits, you are in full control of your life. You are now player 1. You get to do whatever you want. You take that control and you grip it. Yo, Ben, this is all wrong. Like, I really just want to stick on my phone, stick to IG, stick to video games, stick to this dopamine because I feel like it's making me happy in the moment. Like, isn't that what everyone else is doing? Well, Ben, at the end of the day, you're in your grave, and you're the one person that's going to make you happy. And if you want to follow the herd after you watch this full video and breakdown as to exactly why and how, and like you're not going to get what you want, that's up to you. But after you have this information, you would be an absolute fool to continue to do that.